Hello everybody, just for a change this week I'm doing my blog on video. Now I know from feedback I've received from you that some of you are very interested in how we use new technology at Moorside. So if you just follow me, I'll be able to explain. So this is one of our IT rooms, as you can see, and in here we have the intellectual powerhouse of the school. So this is the nerve centre of our operations. This is where Team ICT are based, and you can see it could be a bit bigger, but we've got Tim Kernahan, Ian Smith, and Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson is Director of ICT Systems. You're going to see a few lessons and examples of how we use new technology here at Moorside, and you're going to hear a conversation between Jeff and myself. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, Jeff, we're going to start with PE. This is Philip Dodd's lesson.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of Year 8 students taking part in high jump. The students are actually using flipped video cameras to video each other actually taking part in the high jump.
And I think we'll see that film later on, but have you noticed how the students are applauding each other? It's typical Moorside.
It is.
Now we've got iPads in a PE lesson.
Yeah, well what's happening is while the high jump's going on and they're waiting in the queue, they're actually watching on YouTube how a professional takes part in the high jump.
I see why Phil's doing that, because there's a big issue in PE about learning not happening when you're waiting your turn. So that's a brilliant idea.
Correct.
And this is later on in the lesson using the mobile interactive whiteboard. So what's happening here, Jeff?
He's just linking the video camera up to his laptop now and actually putting it on the big screen for everybody to see.
So this is what they were filming on the flip video.
So he's telling the students there to actually look at their iPads, go back to how a professional does it.
So they're comparing the professional film on the iPad on YouTube with what they can see that's been filmed in the lesson.
That's correct, yeah. So it's constantly playing over and over again on the board.
Yeah, okay, so that you can see. Now I wonder if they're going to get any feedback on that.
Well, what they've got now is the students, once they've compared and made notes, then going to go into a number of different things really. It could be keynote, it could be email, it could be just notes.
So they're emailing each other, or they're keeping notes? Yeah.
Well, this here is called Pages, which is the version for iPad. Basically it's just like a Word document. So as you can see, they're just typing up the notes, and they're actually typing up what they did really well for the high jump and points for improvement. And what happens at the end of that is they actually email it to the student.
So they're getting peer assessment. They're assessing one another.
Correct.
On how to improve their high jump technique.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be surprised that you can use new technology like that in PE. Right, Jeff, QR, what does that stand for?
QR codes are called quick response codes. Basically, they're just like a barcode that you've got on any product at Tesco's, but you can actually go online and create your own. What Jem in the library's done here is actually create one, which is a link through to Amazon for a review of a book.
Now, just in case people aren't sure, that's an iPod Touch, and using the camera facility, you can photograph the QR code, and then you get a link to the internet.
Yeah, that's right. All it is basically just an app you download, which is free. All you do is you hold the camera up to that little QR code, and it's actually linked to the YouTube video for the actual book.
So what the child has done there is they've seen a poster for a book they're interested in. Within seconds they're going into a YouTube film all about it, which is just the sort of thing that teenagers would want, isn't it? Right, now we're moving on to design technology actually, I think, and I think we're going to see iPads used in the resistant materials workshop.
Yeah, what they're doing here is Miss Massey's given them a product to analyse. She's actually given them a photo of the object to use on the iPads, but she's actually also given them the physical object, and they're actually writing on, using their iPad, actually features of them, design features and what have you. So as you can see, every group that's working has a different object that they're working on. So what they do is they feed back to each other any details and design features. Miss Massey's now putting what the kids have put actually up onto the board.
So in other words, she's getting the iPads to talk to the interactive whiteboard.
That's right. It works on an app that uses HTML5, which means as long as you've got a browser that's compatible, you can put what's on the iPad up on the board as she is.
You can imagine the sort of discussion this is going to provoke, because the students themselves will be talking.
The child there is actually explaining the features that they've picked out and the reasons why.
Yeah.
now what's happened is we've gone back into the class. They've actually used the features that they've picked on, and Miss Massey's now taken a picture of the student's own design and emailing back to them so they can pick them up on the iPads again.
And she's using a smartphone there, I guess.
Yep, she's using her iPhone, and all she's doing is using the camera, taking a picture of it, and emailing it to the email account on the iPads. So the student here is going into email. The email will come through. There it is.
That's real personalisation. It's so they're getting individual feedback very, very quickly in a way that is well, good fun, isn't it?
Yeah. And there we go. The pictures from all the different things there. So obviously this group of students.
That's the phone again, Jeff.
It is very popular. So obviously this student's looking for the item that's relevant to them. And there we go, they have the drill. So that was the actual design that they designed based on the features that they found on the other drill. And what we've got here is some feedback on their further design. So what they've actually gone on and done is actually shared the iPads with the rest of the class and saying, this is what we've designed, can we have your feedback on our design?
Yeah. Presentation. We're moving on now to English, and this is interesting. What they're doing here is they're actually working on the novel Animal Farm by George Orwell, but to really get into the text, what they've done is they made models, haven't they?
Yeah, every different group within the class have done different aspects.
And what's the teacher doing here?
She's using her iPhone again to actually take a picture of obviously the display that they've created, and she's now going to email it to her blog, which is actually the English department's blog. So what will happen as soon as she's taken a picture, as we can see here, zooming in, taking a picture of the design, send an email to the blog, and within a minute it will appear on the whiteboard, because the blog's actually displayed on the whiteboard.
Right, okay. And then so you've got a permanent record, and that's something that the student could access at home?
Yeah, because it's on the VLE, and they will be able to revisit everything that was done in class.
As part of their revision for the GCSE English exam.
Correct, and there is the finished picture on the blog.
And now we're moving on to geography, so this is bound to be Joe Music's lesson. And I think I can see, yes, okay, so they're using iPod Touches.
Yeah, well what they've got here is Miss Music's given them some grid coordinates that they've got to go on to the actual Ordnance Survey maps and find. And they've got to use whatever technology they've got here. We've got an iPad, and actually find where those positions are on Google Maps, on Google Earth, on some map-related software on the iPad.
This must be really improving their map reading skills. It's interesting to note, isn't it, in lots of the lessons we've seen in the film today, the students are operating independently or they're in groups, and the teacher's facilitating what's going on. So it's not just old-fashioned chalk and talk.
Yeah.
It's making them more independent, I think.
The students analysing the data that they found from the map and Google Earth, and actually writing up an analysis of whether or not it's a suitable place for a rock festival.
Yeah, and I think this is Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, so the students actually feeding back to the rest of the class using Twitter feed.
And they can see each other's feedback. Does the whole
That's
class
right.
Feedback
It all appears on the whole geography feed.
Right, so we've just got a sticky note that's been added here. It says, trust your instinct and use your knowledge. I think that's absolutely excellent. Who put that one on? Excellent, okay. You definitely have to look at your website and check that you know that the information there should be real.
Well, that's just a glimpse of another really, really good IT lesson using new technology. This is 8.3, by the way. Say hello, 8.3. Hello. I hope that you've enjoyed having a look at how we use new technology here at Moorside. If you'd like to respond to anything you've seen in this week's film, just use the link to contact me on the website. Thanks very much.